Please join me in our show. Namo Amigos. Namo Amigos. Namo Amigos. Nama. 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 Good morning. My name is Sensei Robert Gubenco, and I'd like to welcome you to the Calgary Buddhist Temple for our Sunday, May 24th, 2020 service. Today's service is a Gotan-e service, and Gotan-e means coming down birthday gathering. It is a time when most of us, or many of us, would be gathering at the temple in celebration of the birth of our founder, Shinran Shonin, who was born on May 21st in the year 1173. It's unfortunate that we couldn't be together today, but we do have the great opportunity to be together with this service through the internet. So for that, we are gratefully appreciated. Let's start with a few moments of meditation. I'd ask you to get comfortable where you are and to start taking a couple of deep breaths in order to start to calm our minds and our body. And after a couple of breaths, you can either close your eyes or just have them partially open for the meditation. The meditation will start with the sound of the bell. And when we hear the sound of the bell for the second time, we will gently open our eyes and put our hands together in Gasho. Bring your awareness to your feet. Notice if you have any tension in this area, and relax your feet as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your legs. Notice if you have any tension in this area, and relax your legs as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your hips and hip area. Notice if you have any tension in this area, and relax your hips and hip area as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your arms and hands. Notice if you have any tension in this area, and relax your arms and hands as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your abdomen, your chest, and your back. Notice if you have any tension in this area. And relax your abdomen, your chest, and your back as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Notice if there's any tension in this area. And relax your shoulders, your neck, and your head as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your forehead, your eyes, around your eyes, your jaw, and your tongue. Notice if there's any tension in this area. And relax your forehead, your eyes, around your eyes, your jaw, and your tongue as you breathe out. As you're breathing in and breathing out normally through your nose, take this last opportunity to scan your body and see if you are holding any tension. And if you recognize it, Relax that tension as you breathe out. When through Amita's directing of virtue to them by the power of the vow, the foolish beings ever floundering in birth and death hear the true and real virtues and realize supreme Shinji. They immediately attain great joy and reach the stage of non-retrogression, so that without being made to sunder their blind passions, they are brought quickly to the realization of great nirvana. We observe in thankfulness the presence of Shinran Shonin into our world. May his entrusting heart and mind lead us to entrust ourselves in the great compassion so that we too may lead a life of joy, humility, and gratitude. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nama. 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 Now we will chant Vandana Tisarana. Which is paying homage to Shakyamuni Buddha and taking refuge in the three treasures. read the three treasures. How rare and wondrous it is to have been born into human life, and now I live it. How rare and wondrous it is to be able to listen to the Buddha Dharma, and now I am able to hear it. If I do not transcend the world of delusion in this life, when will I ever attain spiritual liberation? May I, along with the entire Sangha, with sincere-hearted mind, rely on that which can be truly relied on in life, the three treasures. I rely on the Buddha. May I, along with all sentient beings, awaken to the great path with my entire being and discover the highest aspiration, which is to become a Buddha. I rely on the Dharma. May I, along with all sentient beings, deeply reflect on the meaning of the sutras and gain wisdom that is as deep and vast as the ocean. I rely on the Sangha. May I, along with all sentient beings, become one Sangha of life, able to move forward and live with a dynamic spirit that is hindered by nothing. The unsurpassed, deep, and wondrous Dharma, even in millions of kalpas, is extremely difficult to encounter, but now I am able to experience and embrace it. May I come to understand and revere the true meaning of the Tathagata. And now let us recite the loving-kindness metta meditation. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Now we will chant Sang Bujo. respectfully welcome Amida Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome Shakyamuni Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome the Buddhas of all times and places to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. Now we will chant Gasho to Amida. And this is chanted in Juni-rai style. vow to give this wonderful truth to all beings without exception. May they attain perfect wisdom and realize the realm of peace and joy. Please join me in Gasho as we recite in gratitude the Buddha's name. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Nama, 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 Nama. Well, good morning. Thank you very much for joining me today in this service. Today we are recognizing the birth of Shinran Shonin, who was born on May 21st, 1173. And the significance of his birth is based on the causes and conditions surrounding his spiritual and religious life that resulted in a Buddhist tradition which expressed accessibility of Buddhahood for all, regardless of race, social status, or education. His memorial chapel was established in 1272 by his daughter Kakushini. And this chapel became a place for his followers to come and show respect and worship. Over time, Shinran's memorial chapel evolved into the Hongwanji temple, the head temple of the Jodo Shinshu Buddhist tradition. And to this day, with the leadership of our 25th head priest, Gomonshu Senyo Sama, there is a bloodline traceable back to Shinran and his wife Eishini. Shinran was a student and a scholar of Buddhism, having entered the priesthood at the age of 9 years old and studying until his descent from Mount Hiei at the age of 29. His descent was coupled with the personal realization that he was unable to attain Buddhahood based on his own power, and also the world was considered to be in the degenerate age of the Dharma. The degenerate age of the Dharma is considered to be when the Dharma is in decline and people are in dispute over the teachings because they are so far removed from Shakyamuni Buddha. And it is also considered to be a time of unrest, conflict, famine, and natural disasters. Shinran lived in Japan during the Kamakura period, which was between 1185 and 1333, which was a time that was troubled with conflict and famine and natural disasters, and it was a time when new schools of Buddhism were starting to form. These new schools looked to the sutras for different Buddhist teachings that would lead people to enlightenment during the degenerate age of the Dharma. 100 days after Shinran's descent from Mount Hiei, he started to follow Honen Shonin, who was teaching of the Pure Land of Amida Buddha, a Buddhist path that anyone could follow as a means of enlightenment by reciting the Buddha's name, Namo Amida Butsu. It was Shinran's personal realization of his existence, which he could not, under his own power, separate him from passions, greed, desire, anger, and ignorance, and he needed the help of the Buddha to attain Buddhahood. Shinran came to the conclusion that a person was incapable of performing pure acts of practices that would lead to enlightenment, because any act or practice that was performed by a person was ultimately calculated in order to be of benefit to oneself. In other words, essentially self-centered. It was Shinran's self-awareness of his limited capacity to reach Buddhahood that brought forth the realization of the vow of Amida Buddha to save all sentient beings as being directed by or given by the Buddha in the form of the name to be recited by individuals. In other words, the name is the essence of the vow that was established by Amida Buddha for the salvation of all beings. I would like to share a passage from the book Shinran's Gospel of Pure Grace, written by Reverend Dr. Alfred Bloom, who speaks of Shinran's sense of spiritual incapacity. He says, Shinran designed to remove all self-calculating aspects from religion. He established a religious theory of Buddha's assistance, which made every aspect of religion derive ultimately from the Buddha himself. The Buddha's assistance was not restricted merely to the aspect of practice in the vocalizing of the name of Amida Buddha, but it was expanded to correspond to the act of faith in which the urge to repeat the name was engendered. Through his own inner experience and his reflection on Buddhist doctrine, Shinran came to the conclusion that his destiny and that of all beings would be to fall into hell were it not for the grace of Amida Buddha and his vows. I wanted to briefly highlight Shinran's self-awareness of his limited capacity to practice for the attainment of Buddhahood, because it is something that we can all relate to. Consider your own life and how difficult you may find it to be consistent with a practice that you consider meaningful. Perhaps we could consider New Year's resolutions as an example where many of us look to the future with the aspiration to change something about ourselves. Let's say we want to be more understanding, forgiving, and kind to others, and we start off the year with best intentions. Everything seems to be going along well, and we are paying attention to our thoughts, our speech, and our actions, and then something happens, and we find that we become angered or desire something to go our own way. And it does not have to be something that is extreme. It could just be a regular event occurring during the day that triggers the ego self to want to satisfy what it wants. This is the realization that Shinran identified in himself, and it is his teaching of the Nembutsu which brings to our awareness our own spiritual limitations. With the birth of Shinran and the causes and conditions of his life that led him to the vow of Amida Buddha, we find ourselves embraced by the same light of compassion that continues to work for our enlightenment. Perhaps what is most difficult is we are asked to see ourselves as limited beings in this world, and this is difficult because we have a sense of seeing ourselves as more than limited and strive for perfection and getting our own way. We recited the loving kindness meditation today, which is a meditation to ward off ill will towards others. This is another example of our limitations, because the ego self can harbor resentment and ill will towards others. The loving kindness meditation starts with the aspiration, may I be well, happy, and peaceful. And the meditation wants us to be aware of ourselves and our desire for our life. It then expands outwards to people who are close to us, and those who have admiration and respect, and those we have admiration and respect towards, in order for us to understand that these people also want the same things that we want from life. The meditation then expands further outward to people who we do not know well, and to those we harbor ill will towards. Loving kindness, if perfected, would not be restricted in its practice and would ultimately include all beings, but we are limited beings who endure difficulties in spite of our best efforts because of our ego self. Citing once again from the book Shinran's Gospel of Pure Grace, Reverend Dr. Bloom says, Shinran's contribution to the understanding of the human condition comes in the fact that his own experience of futility was a powerful element in the formation of his theology. Throughout his writings, we find abundant evidences of his awareness of personal involvement in passions and lust. His personal confessions, which expose his sinfulness, have given his writings a depth of attractiveness because he has indicated clearly in his own identification with the human situation, and his teachings are a testimony to his faith that he had discovered the solution to man's eternal problem, himself. Buddhism teaches us that every life has meaning. From Amida Buddha, who fulfilled vows to save all beings, from Shakyamuni Buddha, who set the wheel of Dharma in motion, from Shinran Shonin, who shared his awareness of the human condition and the working of the compassion of Amida Buddha. The side of Shinran Shonin, which let him identify with his own limitations and share them with us in his writings, is a testament to his understanding of the human condition. He emphasized that we are not separate from others in our human condition, just as the loving kindness meditation reminds us of the same thing, and we are to be understanding of others as we live a life of Nambutsu. Thank you for listening to my message, and as we share in the compassion of our Buddhist practice and give thanks for the ability to listen to the Dharma, may our lives be filled with happiness and peace, and may we be able to give, even only if we have a little. Well, thank you very much, and please join me in Gasho as we recite in gratitude the Buddha's name. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. 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 Thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure to have you with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a beautiful week ahead of you. Thank you. Manda